Let's welcome in the Powerhouse panel, get some reaction to everything happening on this Friday. We start with best-selling author and political analyst Mark Halperin, National Advisory Board member for Project 21 and podcast host Christopher Arps, and Wake Up America weekend host Allison Maloney with us in Studio N, which stands for Newsmax. I've named that. You know how NBC has, the Today Show has like Studio A? Right?
I like that.
I don't know what the A stands for. Maybe just because it's the first studio in the
one?
building.
Studio N's better.
Yeah, we're going with that. Mark, Freeform Friday, where do you want to start? You want to start with inflation, or do you want to start with COVID, masks, Joe Biden?
I'd like to start with Canadian truckers, but let's start with inflation
Mark,
since it relates to Canadian truckers.
He always does it. These are people that are just fighting for their liberties, all right? It's a violent insurrection. No, what's your thought on the Canadian truckers?
Well, it's a huge economic problem for the administration, and the White House and a lot of American business groups took the extraordinary step yesterday of basically publicly telling the Canadians, solve this problem. But it's not going to be easy to solve. The truckers seem determined to keep going, and the supply chain issues, which were, of course, already a big deal, including in the auto sector, are now going to be exacerbated. So I'd like to see it get resolved, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon.
So I'm with you. Not this weekend. They have doubled down. They've taken the tires off some of the vehicles in downtown Ottawa. If you've been to Ottawa, where they are, it's a small city and a beautiful city at that. The left is calling it an insurrection. If that is an insurrection, anything, you can just call anything
it's known as,
an insurrection.
It's known as the Pawtucket. It's known as the Pawtucket of Canada.
Yeah, or the Providence of Canada. You know,
like
the Boston Bruins.
Pawtucket.
They have the AHL team, Mark, for the Bruins, and they used to say there's something brewing in Providence. Get it? Boston Bruins, Pawtucket, Red Sox. That's real inside baseball right there. No, but you know, Allison, when you've lost the Canadians, I think you've lost the arguments. These are law-abiding, peaceful, generally pretty happy people, our neighbors to the north. This is really unusual what's happening up there.
It is, and they're standing by what they believe, and I do give them a lot of credit, but it is unfortunately affecting a lot of things. But look, I mean, we saw, I think it was a couple of days ago, there was an older gentleman who was honking his horn because he just was supporting them, and he did get, you know, arrested. And so they're taking this really, and they're saying that there's violent things happening there. From what I've seen, what people have said, that's not happening. It's not an insurrection. They're fighting for their rights, their right to decide whether or not they want to get the vaccine. Yeah. It's simple as that.
Christopher Arps, good morning to you. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Justin Trudeau, by the way, and they, you know, the Liberals are usually in power up there. Even though Conservatives have majorities, there always seems to be a Liberal Prime Minister. Justin Trudeau, for whatever reason, has attached himself to the far left here in the United States, which is not, you know, it's a totally different country. And when he spoke earlier this week, he talked about this Nazi sign that was, you know, the swastikas that somebody had photographed. Turned out it wasn't from that protest. He talked about how people are offended by Confederate flags. Why do you think he is, and he defended BLM, I should say that, the organization, not the movement. Why do you think he is mirroring what liberal America is doing so closely? Why align yourself with the liberals here in the United States?
I think a big part of it is you see the liberals on the left and on the right coast is they believe that everyone in the country has the same values as they do. And I'm sure the prime minister has insulated himself among people that think like him. And so he thinks that what he believes in is the prevailing thought among Canadians. But he's learning that Canadians, like Americans and other people around the country, around the world, want freedom. And they're exercising that right now.
We're showing video of the violent insurrection, by the way, in a split screen right now. Chris, I don't know if you can see that, but this is really dangerous. Look at this guy. I guarantee we get a thumbs up. Yep, well, in Canada, they just do that. That's like honk the horn in a big rig. Yeah, this is very, you know, it's very violent up there, very dangerous. These are people that are protesting for their rights and liberties. Mark, how about that? Freeform Friday. We can do whatever you want on Friday. You see?
You know what an aggressive Canadian does, Rob?
Tell me.
He looks at your shoes when he talks to you.
What? I don't get it.
He looks at your shoes as opposed to looking at his own shoes when he talks to you. That's what passes for aggressive in Canada.
Oh. All right, we're just getting warmed up, guys. We're kicking off the rust. All right, we're kicking off the rust here on Wake Up America. Did I miss it? No, I think. All right. By the way, you know, I had a roommate in high school.
It's Canadian humor.
They have, Mark. They have ketchup ketchup chips up there?
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Anyone seen that? Canada?
I've seen that.
And it's called a bag of milk. That's what they call a bag of milk. You get a bag of milk in Canada. And ketchup chips. That's the big one. All right. Joe Biden sits down with Lester Holt on NBC, who's also, they are covering the Olympics. Nobody is watching. These will go down as the lowest rated Olympics in history. Lester Holt asked Joe Biden if getting rid of these mask mandates, particularly in schools, 11 states are doing that now, 10 of them run by Democratic governors, if it's premature because the CDC and the science aren't quite there. Take a listen to the president's response.
I committed that I would follow the science as put forward by the CDC and the federal people. And I think it's probably premature, but it's a tough call.
Allison, you're the PR expert. First of all, it's a tough call. You're the president of the United States. You've wanted this job all your life. It's your job to make that call. And wouldn't a little encouragement help here? If
he wants a win, if he wants something he can hang his hat on, he would lift these mask mandates and say, this is something we're going to live with. There's vaccines. If you want to wear a mask, go for it. If you want to get the vaccine, great. He needs to make a change. And look, I mean, the only science that we're seeing are these studies that they're saying that kids are being affected by wearing these masks. Every day I read a new study on how it's impacting them. Whether it comes to their education, their developmental, they're seeing developmental delays or depression, anxiety. They can't recognize expressions. They're nervous. If they don't wear a mask, am I going to get sick? So that's the only science that I'm seeing.
Randi Weingarten, and we'll get into this in just a little bit on the show this morning, but she's the president. If you're waking up at home, Randi Weingarten's the president of the biggest teachers union in the country. Yesterday, she says, we know that masks have, and this is a quote, impeded kids' learning. Imagine that. This is the third school year that kids are being affected by this. I want to play you a soundbite from Ron DeSantis. He called out just the general hypocrisy from the left. Don't forget, 270 days from now, there will be a midterm election. And all these governors are in the last 5 days, 12 states in all. The majority run by Democratic governors have decided that, nope, we're going to get rid of the mask mandates. Take a listen to Ron DeSantis, and then we'll wrap it up.
The science didn't change. Well, the medical science didn't change. The political science changed. They feel the heat. They know that voters have been tired of perpetual lockdown policies. They know that they have basically offered no off-ramp, and they know that they're fixing to get whooped at the polls. And so that's what's causing the epiphany.
It's unbelievable. But if you take a look at Ron DeSantis, this guy's going to go down as a hero when it comes to COVID. Years from now, when the history is written, July 2021, that's when he dropped the mask mandate in Florida. If you still want to wear a mask, if you want to send your kid to school, by all means, have fun, do it, have at it, not a problem. But he dropped the mask mandate in July. He'll be that will be remembered, I think, historically. All right, panel, we'll leave it there for right now. A lot more to get into this morning. Hillary Clinton, all of a sudden, might be a candidate. She might be a candidate in 2024. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the cost of Super Bowl parties. Cauliflower and buffalo wings, the exact same thing, if you ask me.
No one will know.
Blue cheese can hide everything. All right, we'll see you in just a little bit, panel.